Good afternoon, YouTube. Once again, we are here bringing you some more information on this journey going from the city to the farm. This is going to be an interesting video because I've already had my first experience of, what it truly means to move from the city to a rural farm type situation. If you checked out the first video, and I encourage you to do that, I kind of lay some of the groundwork about what we're going to be covering. If you check out that first video, you'll see the pond that's on the land and the walk between the pond and the house. Well, something very, very, very interesting happened, which is going to lead me to some developments that we're having, and hopefully I'll be able to share that with you on Saturday, but with that part of it, and then I'm going back to Eastern Oklahoma on Tuesday, so it's going to be more exciting footage to come, or at least for me anyway. But something very interesting happened in that walk in the pasture land. When we got back to the house, I just casually touched behind my ear, and there was a big red tick there. Now, of course, being in the city, even though I've had many dogs, my dogs have never had ticks. I've had a couple of flea situations over the years, but never ticks. In fact, I hadn't seen a tick since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. When we lived in Oak Cliff, I just have not seen any ticks. Shocked is an understatement. To just kind of touch behind your ear. I didn't even feel anything crawling on me. It was just and when I touched behind that ear, I felt it and I pulled it down, just thinking it was a leaf or something. It was a big red tick. I've since confirmed that it was a Lone Star tick, and even though it's called a Lone Star tick, they are very should I say plentiful in Oklahoma as well. All of us ended up having ticks on us. In fact, one, even after I had shook my clothes and ran my hands through my fingers, the whole nine, about 2.5 hours back, 2.5 hours into the trip coming back to Texas, my daughter just casually went in my hair, and because I was driving, she didn't want to freak me out, and she had another tick. Crazy, to say the least. And I've since done research on it, and I think I have a pretty good grasp on how to take care of that. We have to cut the pasture down, cut the grass down short. There's also a barrier that I'm going to create of just soil between the pasture and the house. I'm very concerned about it because I do have dogs. In fact, Little Rose, as I call her affectionately, is pregnant right now. So I am extremely concerned about that. So I have to literally take care of the tick problem on day one. And this was something that I didn't even begin to understand that, in terms of how much work it's going to be, and as far as the tick problem, just taking care of the tick problem. Now, mind you, as far as I've been told, there haven't been any cows on that pasture for over a year. All the evidence of cows on that pasture land looks very old, okay? But this place, the pasture is literally crawling with ticks. Now, there are chemical fixes. There are different things that you can do. Of course, I'm going to be raising my own crops on that land, so I do not want any chemicals. So I'm going to cut that yard down as close as I can get it down to the ground. Ticks cannot survive with straight sunlight. I'm going to be chopping back some of the trees to take away the shade, because again, the sunlight is the best deterrent to the ticks. And that brings about another issue, because I was, I knew I was going to have to get a tractor at some point. Well, the tractor went from like down on, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 3 or 4. Now the tractor is at the top of the list. I literally need to have a tractor day 1, day 2, and I need to cut that yard as soon as possible. So, these are the type of things that I'm running into. I want to share that with you guys, because you may be looking at purchasing some land. You may be looking at a rural lifestyle versus, living in the city. And this is the experience that I'm already seeing. I'm seeing that I'm going to need things that I didn't even necessarily, I knew eventually, 3 or 4 months down the line, that was going to be something I need to take a look at. Now I'm taking a look at it already. Okay. In fact, hopefully I can get you guys some footage. I'm going to be checking out some tractors. I've talked to some people. I'm not going to name their names, the brand name yet, but we've been talking back and forth, and they're going to try to let me come on depending on this COVID thing and different things. And I'll be able to check out the tractors, and they're going to walk me through it, like a little tutorial type deal, show me how to use them, show me, the different things that they do with the elements and so forth for the tractors. And I'm super excited because I've never bought a tractor. No, Rose, sit. I've never bought a tractor, four-wheeler, boat, none of that type of thing. I'm a car guy, car, truck guy, but I've never had a tractor or even looked into tractors. So I'm really a fish out of water when it comes to that. I have done some research, but I just kicked all that research into high gear because I'm gonna need a tractor almost day one. And so that's gonna be an interesting thing. It's, all of this is a learning curve. That's the great thing about life, is that, they say you can't teach a dog old tricks. Well, as humans, we can learn new things. We can absorb new information, and it's going to be a real cool thing to just kind of walk through that process. And I'm really looking forward to it. You could have bought me for a nickel in terms of, having to deal with ticks, and they're big, they're red. You're going to see a picture of them, and definitely something I do not want to tangle with. Definitely something I don't want my dogs to tangle with. Come here, Rose. Come here. Come here. I don't know if you can see her. Yeah, there she is. So, it's just a learning curve, man. It's things that we have to learn. But I'm really looking forward to it. Again, like I said, that's the blessing of this channel. You're going to be, literally front row seat and watching all this process take place. Again, I'm going to be riding up there on Tuesday. I have to meet the inspector at 3 o'clock to make everything as easy and as plain for people that may be like me. Maybe you've never read about it. Maybe you've never looked into it. I'm going to, be keeping it plain and simple. And to some of you people who already have a farm or a couple acres, please don't hesitate to leave some comments down below. Share with us, your experiences and how maybe you've been able to take care of things in terms of the tick issue. There is some fencing on the land. I was reading on different threads that some people use hot wires to keep, deer and so forth away. Deer or wild boar, all those types of things. Ticks will find them as hosts. So keeping those types of animals from riding through your pasture is a good way to, cut down on the tick problem. Again, I want to stay totally natural. We're going to be eating these crops ourselves. I'm going to be sending crops down to my mom, to my sisters, my brother, etc. And I also want to raise very healthy animals. You know, whether they be my dogs, whether it be Malia wants goats. You know, she's getting a pig this Friday. I'm going to share that with you. I want all my animals to be healthy. We're going to be raising chickens. We're going to be raising. I want a couple goats. We're going to have a cow or two. And so, you know, I want my livestock, my pets. I want them to be healthy. I also want my family to be healthy. Remember, ticks are like vampires. You know, they use animals as a host, and then they fall off of that animal. You know, they sit there and digest the blood meal, and then when they're hungry again, you may be walking by and they bite you and latch onto you. They carry, you know, Lyme disease, all these different kind of diseases that you haven't heard of for years. You really don't want to deal with them. I don't even want to look into pricing how much it would be to cut 15 plus acres, like having somebody come in and do that. So again, the tractor went from, you know, not that important, maybe something I'd look at 3 or 4 months down the line, to the top of the list, because I have to get that cut my own yard right off the top, right off the bat, and then, you know, go from there. Ticks are no fun. Fleas, none of that stuff is fun. And before we put animals on that land, we want to make sure that at least that problem is taken care of. I also, right next to our land, the people over there have cows, 15 head of cattle. And, you know, so all of those things, I'm going to walk over there and eventually introduce myself and have some conversations with them. But all of those things have to get dealt with, you know, but that's the fun part of this. Again, it's the learning curve. It's learning more information. It's coinciding with nature, and nature, you know, teaching you and learning more from God's land and from God's nature. And so I'm just so excited about that. I'm also excited, you know, having a pond was like a must-have for me. I mean, it was literally like on the make or break list. You know, my wife had certain things she wanted. I had certain things that I had to have. And so the pond was right up there on the top of my list. And this land actually has 2 ponds. I plan on cleaning them up. One is in pretty good shape. The other one I may do some different things with, as far as maybe some water features and bring in some nice pretty rocks, and like do like a koi pond type situation with that one. The other pond I'm actually going to stock with some bass and maybe some bluegill or something. And you know, I'm gonna make the most out of it, because again, I love to fish. And so that'll be just a great opportunity for us to invite those guys out, guys and ladies, excuse me, and bring them out, and we sit around and fish, and then have a big fish fry. So all those things are developing. I'm gonna show you all of that I've done. You know, literally, I won't say 100 hours, but, you know, dozens and dozens of hours of research, especially into the pond, you know, the ecosystem of it, how to clean it up, how to maintain it, how to make it thrive in terms of your fish count. And so I am so excited about that. You're gonna see the whole thing. You're gonna see me stock the pond. You're gonna see me clean up the smaller pond. It needs a lot of help. You're gonna see all that. And so I can't wait to show you guys. Again, you are seeing, you know, the whole experience. You're gonna see mistakes. You're gonna see me, you know, say one thing and then perhaps change it, you know, change my mind on certain things. You're gonna see that whole process. But my aim is to show you that it can be done. My aim is for you to watch my mistakes in this process. And so if you decide to step out there, you know, you won't have to make the same mistakes I'm making. And hopefully once you see how it's all rolling, the quality of life that I talked about in the first video, all of those different aspects of it, hopefully you'll be motivated, you know, to really step out there and see what you can do. So that's the update. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Like and subscribe if you will. Share if you will. Maybe there's somebody that's seriously considering buying some farmland, buying some pasture. Maybe somebody who's considering running a couple head of cattle. Please share the video, and you'll see this entire experience right here on this YouTube channel. Okay.